good evening, and welcome to Tea Time.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. That's right, it is a Monday, the last Monday in June. It's the 30th, I can't believe it. I'm going to talk about my weekend real quick and get to my in-studio guest. So Friday night, I went to my daughter's house, Valerie LaRose. She had a little soiree party to buy stuff, spend money on pocketbooks and jewelry, and I treated myself to a bracelet. It was fun, nice night out with women. They were like 20, 25 women there. There was a lot of women. Saturday, I spent 5 hours in my basement with women from the Miss Senior New York America. And yeah, that's July 26th, and I'm really doing it, people. I can't believe it. But we had a really, really good practice. Picked out my gown. I got my outfit for my talent. I'm going to be dancing. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then yesterday, Sunday, I was at my sister's in Dix Hills and with the familia, and we had delicious food, and we had a good time. And then I was here. After for limo talk with the guys, Bobby and Graz and Rich, and their guest last night was Billy Geyer. And we had a lot of fun last night, a lot of fun. All right, let's get to my guest, because my show goes so fast. He's an actor, he's a producer, he's a model, he's a singer. He does it all. And I love saying his name. So it's Eduardo Garcia Luna, better known as Eddie. Hi!
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
I am quite well, thanks for having me.
I am so happy you're here. We have a lot of mutual friends. I met you at a premiere that we're going to talk about later, and he's wearing the shirt, and I'm excited that you're the first cast member to come on.
The furthest one away, but the first one
Yeah,
here.
he came from Jersey, people. It's such a schlep, but I told him he's going to fly home.
And it was well
I
worth
know,
it.
he is. So listen, let's talk about you. Everyone get to know you. So you're originally from Staten Island?
No, I'm actually a Jersey boy.
Okay.
I was born in Jersey City.
Okay.
But my formative years were in New York.
Okay.
Staten Island.
So you were
went
like
to high school in Manhattan.
back and forth. Yes, but you were an adorable kid. Can we put up pic A,
Oh, no.
please? Yes, we got pics.
Oh.
Look how cute. Love it. Haven't changed a
Lord.
bit. Just that the hair's a little spiky and gray. Pretty much everything's the same. Thank you.
I can't.
Adorable,
You're killing me.
adorable. So yeah, so you went to high school. You went to LaGuardia High School, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. I was fortunate enough to have a junior high school drama teacher named Mrs. McCormick at
Mrs.
I-72.
McCormick. I have that
You
right
have
here.
that?
I have her,
Wow.
Mrs. McCormick. So tell me how she changed your life and then got you into acting.
So I want to say 7th grade or 8th grade, we started working on monologues, and she came to me with a piece from a play called Dino. And she said that Sal Mineo had done it originally. And I'd like you to work on this because I think you should audition for performing arts. And I was like, really? Okay.
So like she saw
I had done
something in you.
I had done Oliver. I played the Artful Dodger in Oliver.
Yeah.
Musical theater
Yeah,
early
yeah.
on, which is weird. But yeah, I'd done a couple shows for her already, so I guess she saw something. And then when I did the monologue in front of the class, and the emotions came and the moment was there, I could feel it. I remember being in front of the class and going, whoa, something's happening that's out of my control right now. It was one of those things. And right after that, she brought me to the side. I still had like tears were streaming down my face from the piece, and she's like, "You have something special. You really have to audition for performing arts." And I was like, "Okay." And myself and 3 other of my classmates all got in. So there were 4 of us traveling from Staten Island into the city.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
So tell me who you went to school with there.
Who didn't I go to school with?
Yeah.
The list goes on and on. I mean, I remember when I first got there, Jennifer Aniston had, I don't know how she had a name, but she already had a name, kind of.
Well, her dad.
Probably, yeah. And we were all very aware of her. But yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on. You know, really famous ones, Marlon Wayans, obviously, Omar Epps, my boy Kirk Acevedo. But Jen, of course, was, you know, probably the most famous when I was there anyway, I would think.
And how were those years there? How were
those
they?
years were tumultuous,
Right.
but also very informative. I was blessed with some great acting teachers. If you've ever seen the movie Fame, the acting teacher in the movie Fame ended up being my acting teacher for about 2 years. His name is James Moody. And he had went to Juilliard. I believe he was there at the same time as Robin Williams. So he shared a lot of his wisdom with us. A lot of very practical stuff, which I loved because, you know, I'm very pragmatic, so I wanted just simple ways to get there, you know, instead of all that circuitous Stanislavski stuff, you know.
We have pick D. Let's put up pick D, please. I think this might be, because we all have a great black and white.
My cousin Joe Patricolo, Starlight Photography, took that picture.
Nice.
That's a good one. That was my, you know, have a cigarette and coffee and get out of my face look. Yeah, that's a classic.
Thanks, Carmine. Carmine's on the ball. So you also studied a little bit at NYU.
Yes, I took 2 years off after high school. As I said, high school was tumultuous. I lost both of my parents. Had passed when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So my grandfather at the time had read a book that said you should take some time after high school to figure out what you want to do.
Right.
In hindsight, not the best idea.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, everything happens for a reason. I took some time off. Then I auditioned for NYU and I got into Tisch.
Right.
But I had already started making money, and I had started a band, and I was doing the music thing, and getting back to beat work after taking such intense acting classes for so long was very difficult. So I ended up dropping out after like 5 months.
Well, talking about, now you sing. You have a wonderful voice. I heard some videos.
I appreciate it.
And then, are you self-taught the guitar, or did you?
Pretty much. I mean, my stepdad who raised me since I'm 2 was, he was classically trained, and he was playing guitar since he was like 5.
Yeah.
So I always watched him and picked up little stuff, but I could never wrap my head around the theory of it. So I'm just a player.
Let's put up pick E, please.
I'm just a player, if you will.
Yeah. Well, we have a pic of you playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was actually a recording session for a song that was going under one of our short films.
Nice. So, and then I did see a quick video, thank you, a quick video of you playing drums. It's there. It is there. That's you.
Yeah,
it is you.
That was actually my first instrument because my real dad, who was right off the boat Cuba, was a conga player.
Oh.
That's where the Garcia comes from.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a conguero, he was a singer, he was a dancer, a poet, all that stuff I kind of got from him, I guess.
It's in the genes.
It's definitely in the blood.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, but you started acting young.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, let's put up pick B, please, because you did something called The Evening Star.
Ah, yes.
Right?
There's
so
Cara
we can
Bono.
leave that there. Thank you. So tell me about this. You played Junior.
Yes, Junior Rodriguez. Cool story. My friend Cara got cast in this show.
Yeah.
The actor that was supposed to play my role ended up booking a film.
Okay.
So he couldn't do it.
Right.
And I think it was maybe, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks before opening.
Right.
I don't know, Cara would probably remember better than I would. But she recommended me, and boom, I got cast, and Marissa Tomei ended up playing my sister, and it was a really amazing time.
Wow.
I used to walk Marissa to the train station every night after the show.
You used to walk Marissa Tomei to the train station every night?
Isn't that funny?
That's wild.
Yeah. And then fast forward, so we do that show together. you know, of course, a schmuck. I don't keep contact with anyone. I just, you know, go about my merry way. She was already on a different world at the time.
Yeah.
And she was so down to earth and just so cool and so chill.
Yeah.
And we would have these great conversations walking to the art train at night and stuff. And I ended up bumping into her at a Knicks game after she won the Oscar.
Wow.
So, of course, I had to ask her, did you have any idea? And she said, no. That's why I had no speech ready. She had nothing ready. She didn't think she had a shot in hell.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Wow. That is wild.
Super talented,
wild.
amazing girl.
But you went by a different name back then.
Yes, I did. My birth name, well, the name that was given to me by
Yeah,
my
'cause
mom
yes.
was Edward Sambucci.
Okay.
Which is my mother's maiden name, my grandfather on the Napolitan side.
Yeah.
He was a Sambucci. So I grew up with Sambucci. Meanwhile, I'm mostly Spanish because my mother was Puerto Rican and Italian.
Okay.
Her mother was from Puerto Rico and her father was Italian.
So you have a quarter
And my real father
Italian.
was 100% Cuban
Okay.
right off the boat.
Right.
So I was mostly Spanish,
Yeah.
but I had this super Italian last name.
Right.
Which I think in a lot of ways was a hindrance early on.
Yeah.
Especially late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it's not like today.
It didn't work well.
Yeah.
And then I just had this idea a few years ago to go back to what should have been my real name.
Okay.
And sure enough, once again, I wasn't getting auditions for Spanish roles.
Right.
It didn't make sense.
Right.
As soon as I changed the name, that week I got 3 different tapes for Spanish roles.
Wow. See that? It was meant to be that way. But you did some modeling.
I did some modeling.
Let's put up
here
pic
and
C,
there.
please.
Oh Lord, what is this?
So tell me how you felt. Hello.
That's actually just a headshot.
Well,
that
I
wasn't
don't care
even
what
modeling.
it is, okay? All the women right now are enjoying it. Don't ruin the moment, Eddie. Tell me, though, thank you, Carmine, but how did you fall into modeling? Because you are tall. You're like 6'2". 6'2".
Yeah.
Okay, so
I never wanted to model. That was the last thing I wanted to do.
so what did someone say? Oh, wait, you got to look.
I had friends that, you know, asked me to do certain things, and I did some stuff in clubs
So you did
and
like,
things like
did you
that.
do like print work?
I never did any print work or anything like that. My
Really?
kids have done
That's
more
why
print.
I'm only
yeah,
pulling-
No, I didn't really. I was one of those that looked down because I was an egomaniac.
Okay.
I looked down
You
on
had a
models.
little chip on your shoulder back
a
then.
major chip
You know,
on
you
my
had a problem
shoulder.
with models. You had a problem with musical theater. Yeah,
did.
yeah, you did. I know.
I am a reformed man.
He's
I promise
reformed. Yes. He's come a long way, baby.
I thank my daughter Francesca Luna for that one because she's
Yeah.
a musical theater kid.
Yes.
And she
has a fabulous voice.
yes.
Beautiful voice.
She made me appreciate musical theater a lot more than I ever did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the Stanislavski upbringing and the method.
Right.
Musical theater acting never made any sense to me. And you would have thought I would have had more of an open mind to it because Marlon had done Guys and Dolls,
Yep.
and you know, a lot of the actors I grew up loving had done musical theater, but it wasn't my bag.
You weren't into it.
It just wasn't my thing. But now I totally appreciate it. I actually auditioned for In the Heights last summer.
Cool.
That plays in the park in Jersey.
Yeah. So the modeling thing, just to answer the modeling question. How'd you fall into that? Did someone say, no, seriously, like you have a look, you got the height? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I always got that. But
Yeah.
I just didn't want to pursue it.
all right, I get it.
I mean, I
get
definitely
it.
took enough photos for it. And
Right.
I think, you know,
Well, I was telling
there may
Eddie.
be some stuff out there, but I wasn't really.
I was telling Eddie before the show, he doesn't take a bad pic. He doesn't. I love every headshot he has. There's just not a bad pic
I
in the bunch.
appreciate
No,
that.
it's so true. All right, so Rocker, you formed a band after high school?
Yeah, formed a band after high school, and that's why I dropped out of NYU.
What was the name of the band?
It was called Mother Mercy.
Okay.
So how that came about was I had went to see Pearl Jam at CBGB's.
Picture F, please.
Oh, you have that one.
Yes, we do. You and
Vetter?
Eddie.
There's Mr.
There
Vetter.
it is.
So I met Ed. That's outside of CBGB's that night.
There you
and
go.
he pulled me on stage, and I got to sing a song with him, back and forth for a verse.
How cool was that?
It was absolutely incredible,
you.
especially being at CBGB's. It was right before Pearl Jam blew up, too. So they
Yeah.
weren't even like really big
Right,
yet.
right.
And I befriended the band early on. And then when they ended up playing Limelight
Oh boy.
that next year.
Yeah.
And once again, he pulled me on stage. I got to sing at that show, too.
Yeah.
That one, I got to sing a Beatles song.
Did you know Chaz Palminteri was the head of security there?
At Limelight.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fun fact.
You know, I could have met Chaz at the Hell's Kitchen Film Festival when I met Gary Pastor and all those guys, and Bobby Fanaro. What's up, Bobby?
Shout out.
When I met Gary that night, I could have, because Chaz was there, but
Yeah.
so many people were taking pictures.
I
I didn't
know.
want to be another one
I know.
asking him to take a picture.
Yeah, but now you wish you did.
I wish I did. I really do. I would love to conversate with him.
Yeah.
I see his podcast, and I'm like, they have such great conversations
Yeah.
about early acting and stuff.
I know. And he teaches too. He teaches
Does he?
classes. Yeah, he does.
Oh, wow.
I got to see when he's going to start that up again.
Yeah, I would love to get
Because my friend,
get
shout
in
out
there.
to George Papadamatis.
Okay.
He's taken many classes with him. So I have to ask you, what was the first concert you've ever went to?
First concert, I love this question. So
I try.
there's two answers. The first concert I ever saw, the first live music thing I ever remember was the Spinners at Six Flags.
Wow.
Rubber Band Man.
Yeah.
I remember being very excited about that as a kid. But the actual first like concert was the H2O Hall & Oates tour at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
And that was absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's when I fell in love with live music, and I'm still a live music junkie.
Yeah.
Just went to see Counting Crows the other night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we try to go to see a couple shows a year.
No, that's fun. That's good. My first concert was, not that you asked me, but I like saying it. My first concert was Andy Gibb.
Andy Gibb? Oh, I would love to have seen Andy Gibb
He
or
was
the Bee Gees.
amazing.
Oh,
He was
man.
amazing.
Must have been incredible.
It was in Florida.
Yeah?
It was great.
Aw.
It was great.
Another
But I
tortured-
love
another
knowing people's
tortured
concerts.
artist.
Yeah. Aren't they all? How old were you when you knew you can actually sing?
I'm still unsure about that one.
No, that's not true. Come on. No, but you were young.
No, I mean, I think I always felt I could carry a tune. My father used to bust my chops and tell me I was tone deaf, but he would play guitar and I would try to sing along with him, and I would never be in key, so he'd bust my chops. But I don't know. I mean, I think when I got in a band and really started just, you know, trying to really sing, you know what I mean? Like, I never took formal lessons or anything like that, but I mean, I guess actually when I did the Artful Dodger, when I was in like, you know, 7th grade or whatever, I knew I could carry a tune.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew I could sing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize I could actually maybe do it as a profession or like a gig until I saw like those bands that I loved in the late 80s, early 90s, like Jane's Addiction and Pearl Jam and stuff like that, and Mother Love Bone. I was like, I could do that, you know? So that's why. And being on stage with Pearl Jam, I was like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
But it just goes back to the early days of acting, really.
But again, that's like live theater.
Exactly.
Again, it's like
It's the same
live
thing.
theater, live music. There's nothing like a live performance and doing a live performance and then hearing that audience. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why my friends and I, we all talk about the same things.
Yeah.
Frankie Montero, my director, Matthew Grossman, who you know. We all talk about our film life is going to hopefully one day pay for our theater life.
Right.
Because all we want to do is theater. We would literally like make a movie a couple months a year and then do the show, you know, a play or something for another couple months. That's the goal.
Yeah.
You know?
I could see it happening.
Oh,
I could totally
that's the goal.
see it happening. And you know what else I could see? My first break. So we'll be back after this. Don't go away. There's so much more to talk about with Eddie after this.
Well, hi there, Theresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Theresa. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. Eduardo Garcia Luna is here. Better known as Eddie.
Love that.
I love saying that name. Like I said, I was on Limo Talk last night and they're like, who are you having on tomorrow? And I'm like, Eduardo Garcia Luna. And they're like, do you have to say it with the accent? And I'm like, hell yeah, I gotta say it with the accent. It sounds so much better.
Funny story about that. When I first did the name change, I was just going to use Eddie Garcia, Eduardo Garcia. And I went on IMDb, and there were like 10 of them.
A ton of
I'm like,
them.
oh no.
Yes.
So then I'm like, okay, what else can I add to this? My
Yes.
grandmother, my Cuban grandmother, her
Right.
maiden name was Luna.
Yes.
That's why we named my daughter's middle name is Luna.
Nice.
So I put that at the end of it because there weren't any of those.
Well, when I did Theresa Farrell, there were a few also, and
No
I was
way.
like,
Really?
I'll throw in my maiden name, Garcia. I'll throw that in. All right, so listen, the man is an actor, he's a producer, model, musician. I'm gonna say musician because you do play and sing.
I play.
You know what I'm saying? You don't just sing. All right, so there's a very interesting story I want to ask you about.
Okay.
Okay, don't be scared. But when you were 21 years old, you worked at the Liberty Cafe down at South Street Seaport. I worked down there too. Not there, but I worked at Pier 17A when
No way.
they were building it.
Really?
And you worked there and you sat Dennis Farina.
How do you know this story?
Listen, I got my ways. You sat down. Dennis Farina comes in and you sat him down.
Oh,
and
man.
years later, what show were you on that he remembered you?
Law and Order?
Law and Order.
Yeah. He was such a sweetheart. I remember sitting him at Liberty Cafe.
Yes.
And I knew him from, I want to say Midnight Run, I think. And
Yes, he was the bad guy.
I
He
knew
was the
him
bad
from
guy.
Midnight Run, and I knew him
yeah.
from maybe a couple other TV things that I'd
yeah.
seen him in.
Yeah.
And he was there on a date or something, and I was
Yeah.
a host at Liberty
Was it
Cafe.
his Gumata?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting him and telling him how much I loved his work. And he was like,
Yeah.
thank you, young
Yeah.
man, blah, blah, blah.
And then
he was
all
just
those
really
years
cool.
later-
And then years later, I'm doing background on Law and Order.
And there he
And
is.
he was one of the actors that came over and said hello and talked to
To
all
the
the
extras.
extras.
Isn't that nice?
And I remembered that. And I
Mm.
said, if I ever have that opportunity, I'm doing exactly that.
Yeah.
I'm not hanging with the other, I'm going to go hang with the background
Yeah,
actors.
yeah.
So I thought that really meant a lot, and I think
course.
it set the tone
Yeah.
in a lot of respects.
That's cool. That's so. I loved.
Yeah.
I
and,
love my little-
Dennis.
I'm
He,
like-
he went too soon, too.
I know.
Oh.
I know. All right, so let's talk about your IMDb creds.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick G, please, because in 2015, that's a shot. That's a shot
A&03.
of you. That's A and 03. It's a short.
First short I did.
You played Tim,
Yep.
and you you were great in this.
Wow.
You really were.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I had a friend from high school call me up.
Yeah.
He was actually friends with Marlon Wayans and all those dudes. I think he was in the same class. And he called me up, said he was writing some shorts. And I was like,
Right.
okay. He was like, can you read them?
Yeah.
And let me know what you think. And I
Yeah.
said, sure. So I read that one.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a whole dream about this guy who he's cheating on his wife, or
Yes.
he's cheating with a woman who's married. something
It's
to
a
that
woman
effect.
cheating on her husband's husband with the brother.
That's what it is, with the brother. So I played the brother.
Yeah.
Emotional piece, something to sink my teeth
Yes.
into. I loved it. I was like, wow, this
Yeah,
is
you-
really good.
you
He goes,
had-
great. I want you to play Tim, and I won't take no for an answer. Now, I
okay.
hadn't been doing any acting at the time. I
Right,
had
because
stopped.
you did take like a 10-year break.
Yeah, I took a long hiatus.
Yeah.
And then my children kind of pulled me back in, my daughter, and then
Yeah.
my son started making film.
Yeah, your daughter wanted you to do theater with her.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is so cool.
It was awesome. We got to do a musical theater thing. It was
I mean, I can't say I did that with my dad.
Yeah,
I love
it was,
that.
It was awesome.
That's great.
I mean, doing it with her made it
Yeah,
worthwhile. I didn't
definitely.
want to do it. It scared the hell out of
I'm
me
sure
doing
it did,
musical theater.
considering you didn't like it when you were younger.
Oh, it scared the death out of me. But I was like, you know what? That means I should do it.
It should.
And it was very worth it. And it really kind of.
Takes you out of your comfort zone.
did.
You know, and
And
it
I love
challenges
doing
you.
that. I love doing that, yeah.
And then let's go to pick H, please, because H you did
Ooh,
what,
that
it's
one.
Aberration,
Aberration. That
which was a
one-
short.
That's another short we did. Yes.
And,
I played kind of a.
Was it Brimstone? Was it
Brimstone. He was kind of like
Yeah.
an evil ghost
Yeah.
character. It was interesting. That was fun.
And let's go to I, because the following year, 2017,
Is that the
you
feat?
did
Oh,
Jumby.
this is Jumby.
Yeah, that was also a short.
Jumby, I played
And
a
you actually-
transgender witch.
Yes, and you actually produced it, correct?
Yes, that one I definitely produced.
Yeah.
Jumby I produced.
But you were cranking
My friend
them out.
Raul Ferran,
Yeah?
343 Creative, does those posters.
Uh-huh.
He does the greatest movie posters you'll ever see.
Nice. But you were busy. You had
Yes,
the next
yes.
year 20
Very busy making
We're
short
gonna
films.
go to Jay, please. 2019.
Bang, the big one. That's
There you
also by
go.
343 Creative.
You could
That
say-
was our
say-
feature.
That was the
That was the feature.
That was the
Linea
feature
de
you did.
Sangre.
And that you produced as well.
Yeah, I produced that also. I love, and I don't know if you saw it, but it was a documentary about one of the guys who worked with Kubrick. It's called Film Worker. And I like to just call myself a film worker
Yes.
because
Yes.
doing all the short films and doing indie film for the last 10 years, you learn to wear many hats.
Yes.
And I learned to do craft services.
Right. Right.
I learned to do
Yeah,
sound,
yeah,
lighting,
yeah.
everything. You name it, we did it. It was our film school.
But
doing
again,
all
it
those
was
films.
a very interesting concept about orphans that
Yeah.
were separated.
My daughter was in it also.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then when they reunite as adults, they're both on different sides of the law.
Yeah, that was fun. We shot that over a 2-week period. It was ultra low budget, but we did it through SAG, and we learned that whole
Yeah, it was
process.
definitely a learning
Yeah,
experience,
big
right?
time, big time.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I was really proud of that film. It kind of didn't make its way, but I'm still proud of the work we did on that.
And then you were a co-executive producer of Indigo, which was a
Indigo
short.
was the next short after
Right.
the feature. Yeah, that was fun. My daughter was in that one too, actually.
That is
Francesca Sambucci.
That is so cool,
Mm-hmm.
really. Okay, so now we get to the promo on his shirt, the Beggar Man.
Beggar Man.
And we're gonna put up pick K, please, which is the poster.
There it
now,
is.
now you can leave that there, memento, because and then I'll get into the other picks that go with that. So the Beggar Man. This was written and directed by Frankie Montero. Okay, shout out to Frankie Montero. I actually met Frankie the first time I was doing Murdered by the Mob. He played the cop. Wonderful guy. Fell in love with him when I met him.
Incredible actor, incredible
Wonderful,
writer.
incredible. So again, I'm going to name some names and then put up some pics. So you had Peter Green in this.
Yes, badass
My
Peter
friend
Green.
Ralph Bracco, my girl Justine Harrison, who also does Murder by the Mob for me, Lenny Thompson, and of course Matt Grossman.
Lenny Thomas.
Thomas, sorry, forgive me, Lenny.
our star,
Lenny
Lenny.
Thomas, and put up pic L because I think we got a picture with you and Lenny. Yes,
Yes, that's
there
at the
you
Garden
are.
State Film Festival,
Yeah, because
where we premiered.
yes, and when I saw it, it was in Cranford, New
saw it at the
Jersey,
Cranford, yes.
and that was amazing.
Yep.
And then we could go to M. Thank you.
There
That's
we are, David
some of the
Schoner.
cast.
There's Frankie,
And then,
Ariel,
and then the
his new
next one is
bride,
we're gonna jump to P
Artie Gilman.
because that's you and Frankie.
There's Frankie.
Yeah, and congratulations, he just got married.
Yes, he
took
did.
the plunge. Thank you. And so Frankie and Matt and Lenny hopefully will come on as well.
Oh, they will.
Because they're busy. Everyone's busy, and I get it. But I'm glad you were first to come
Yeah,
on.
we're actually already in pre-production for the next feature, so we're
I know
already going crazy.
we talked about that a little bit. They got a lot going on, which is great. And you know, once you find your tribe,
Yep.
once you find those people that you can rely on and you have fun with, and you know, no one has egos, and they're there to work, and just you know, they're in 100%. It just
Yep.
makes it so much more pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that too.
Totally.
You know, so and it's cool how you met Matt and how that happens and how this happens and how I met, you know, Frank through the mob. It's wild. The journey is wild, people.
Oh, it
but
is.
the secret is what? To stay on the ride, right?
Don't stop.
Don't hop off of it, because there are times, and we talked about this too, there are times when you get frustrated
Yeah.
because this is an industry that you love, but it doesn't necessarily love you back. And you know as well as I do, most of the time you can have the talent, but if you don't have the look that they're looking for, like you had said that you missed out on an opportunity for a television show,
Yep.
and the kid who auditioned, we won't say
Just
his
had a
name.
totally different look than I
He
did.
wasn't as talented as Eddie, but he had a totally different
I
look.
didn't think so anyway, but
Well,
I was an egomaniac.
agree.
But
I agree. I'm agreeing.
no, you know, it was a show called The Finellis with Joe Pantoliano.
Okay, now we're
Joey
just
Pants.
everything's out of the bag now.
That's it.
people.
I'm putting it out there.
That's it. Who
I
cares?
auditioned for that show, and I thought I was booking it.
Yeah.
booking it. I'm in
They
the room
wanted
with,
an Italian-
I'm in the room
Italian
with Bonnie
kid.
Timmerman for an Italian show. I'm like, this is it.
This is it.
No.
No.
They went with a kid that had a totally different look. He had long hair. He had a totally different look than I.
Yeah.
This is what it is. I didn't know at the time that that's the way things worked.
Yeah, that's the way
I thought
things
talent
work.
was always going to
No.
prove out, but that's not
No.
always necessarily the case.
It's true. It's so true.
Lot
Yeah,
of
rejection.
luck and-
Rejection is part of the plan. So, like I mentioned, Frankie wrote it, directed it. You actually were an associate producer.
Yes, you got to kind of go back because he had done his second feature film called The Operation.
Right.
That Matthew Grossman was in.
That
Ralph was in.
that I actually have. That's pick N, please.
Oh, you have a pick of that?
Oh,
Nice.
why? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hello. Yeah. Pick N.
The Operation was
As
a lot
in
of
Nancy?
fun.
There
it
you
is.
go.
Great poster. So that one.
You played Russ.
Yes, I played Russ Allegretti.
Thank you.
Mobster, runs a funeral parlor.
Oh, that's a great scene.
Lots of fun.
That's
Lots of
great.
fun.
And
We
shout
shot
out-
it at the Sinatra Funeral Parlor. Up
Did
in,
you
yeah, up in
really?
Yonkers.
And shout out to Mike, because Mike was in that
Mike
scene.
Maron, yep.
Was in that scene with you.
Yeah, Mike and I had a blast that
my
day.
God,
So
it was
Matt,
great.
Matt was already cast in it. Somebody had, I guess, backed out last second, and
Right.
Matt thought of me, recommended me to Frankie, and boom.
And you were on set like 2 days
Bam,
later,
a couple
right?
days later, I was there, ready to rock. We blasted it out.
Nice.
And luckily, I guess I did pretty well. Frankie wanted me back, and we were in pre-production for one of his other films called City Dwellers.
Yes.
And we
you
were-
play Nick.
Hopefully, one day that will
Hopefully.
get shot too.
Yes.
And we were in pre-production for that.
Yes.
And then Beggar Man was kind of also out there too. And Lenny fell in love with Beggar Man. And we
Yes.
kind of did a 360 and went full bore on Beggar Man.
Yeah.
I was going to be one of the producers of City Dwellers, and then my dad passed, and I was in a really weird place. And I told the
Yeah.
guys, I don't know if I can handle all this right now.
Yeah.
So they were cool enough, to give me my space.
Yeah.
I still acted in the film, obviously.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the final product, I was like, guys,
Let me tell you something.
really-
This movie blew me away.
They blew me away. They
blew me away. And you know what? It's going to blow you away because we have the trailer. I'm going to play it right now. So
Sweet.
stay there. We'll be back after the trailer.
I might be in that.
Thank you. You are in the trailer. Hello.
Top of the morning, Beggar Man. Why do they call you Beggar Man out there in the street? It's the cause I was helping. You know, you're a young guy. It's my nickname. Let me give you a little hand up.
Excuse me, sir. $1 something? I hate this place. These people won't even give you $1 to save your life.
Oh, get your hands off me!
What are you doing?
It's a suitcase, man. Come over here, help me out. Where did you get this money from? I found them in the envelope downtown. I'd be surprised what you find outside these hours.
What the f***? Never met anyone like you before.
I got people trying to kill me. What's in the briefcase, matter of fact, man?
You start seeing people's true colors when it comes to money.
The reason you look so nervous?
The only color they see is green.
I don't get looking over my shoulder. I need to get out of the city and start over.
Okay, get rid of them. And never look back.
I don't want to hurt nobody.
You're the person, you have a heart.
What's to stop you from taking over? I survived all this time without any money. And now that I got it, it's caused me nothing but problems. Who are you to take what's mine, huh? Shut up! Let me search it!
Amazing. Amazing. Everyone has to see this movie.
Yes,
blew me
please.
away, really. So where can people eventually see
So
this?
September 5th, we go on Amazon Prime.
Woohoo! September
and
5th, the day before
September
my
5th,
birthday.
Amazon Prime
Yeah.
and all video on demand services.
Yes.
So I became an associate producer, just to circle back.
Right.
After the film was done and we were looking for distro, I kind of came back involved with the production team. and helped find distro, and it's
Yeah.
always a group effort. It's
Yes.
not any one person,
Yeah.
it's the whole team.
Yeah.
But we got distribution
so
with a
thrilling.
company out in San Diego called Buffalo 8, and they're going to distribute it worldwide. So hopefully it makes some money, and then we can start talking about the budget for the next film. That's where we're at. It took. I tell people this all the time. Indie film, it takes a long time. I mean, it's been 10 years I've been at this, and we're finally at this place after 10 years. I'm finally here. So it's nice. It's a great reward at the end of it all. And we'll see what happens.
You did a great job. You played a cop.
I
It was great.
appreciate
It was a great scene.
Play a dirty cop.
Yeah, but it was a great scene. It was a great scene.
was
It
fun.
really was. I think everyone was. It was well casted. I think everyone is memorable. I found that
That's great.
even Allie. Shout out to Allie Moraine. She's in it. She's in it too. Yeah, I think every character is memorable.
Yeah,
I
I thought they did
remember
really
every
well in the
character.
casting
Yeah,
department.
it was great.
Very
It
much
was
so.
really, really. So Beggar Man, September 5th.
September
I will
5th,
remind
Beggar Man,
everybody.
starring Lenny Thomas.
Yes.
Old York Pictures.
Yeah, I'm just so thrilled that I was, Ralph and I took the ride and we went to Cranford and saw it.
And that I get to be part of that team that was already established before I even got there. And
Right.
for Frankie to welcome me with open arms has been truly humbling, and I'm just so honored. I really am.
Yeah.
Because when you find, like we were talking about, when you find your people,
Yeah.
it's like it's a great
It's
thing.
true. Yeah, because you have to have a tribe. You have to find your people, and you have to have each other's backs, and you have to
build each other up.
Yes, and help each other out. Again, someone who's casting, and you're thinking of just put it out there.
We have a lot of days when we all have our 9-to-5 gigs, and
you have to pay the
they
bills.
wear on you. They
Yeah.
wear on you at times, and
Yeah.
you get down, and you get it's not going to happen. I've been doing this for 10 years, independent film.
Yeah.
When's it going to happen?
Right.
When do we
right.
actually get paid for what we're doing?
Well, we
That'd be nice.
we talked about that. How it's nice when you get. It's very nice when you get paid, but when it's in your soul and in your bones, and you love doing it, it's so hard not to say no. It's just so hard not to say.
And that's not why we're really doing it in the first place either.
For the love of the craft, and
Exactly.
getting paid is the cherry on top of the, the cake.
Yeah.
And
but everybody's got mortgages and kids to feed and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I know I do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, so listen, let's take another break, but don't go away. Please stay there. We'll be back after this.
How you doing? It's Sal, the voice of Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Theresa Canastraci, Tea Time with Theresa Canastraci Farrell. And make sure you follow Theresa on Facebook, Tea Time with Theresa Canastraci Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love. Sorry. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you tuned in tonight because Eduardo Garcia Luna is here, better known as Eddie. I just love saying your name. I can't help it. Thank you everyone for watching the show. Please like it. Please share it. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. And then it goes to Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, Apple TV, I don't know, Tweezer. I don't know. There's I'm saying it wrong, right, Carmine? We're on a new network also as of last night. Limo Talk was the first one on it. We're on every platform you can find.
Cool.
Everywhere a podcast can be heard. Seen every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Channel 20 for people who live on Long Island and get Optimum TV. So, 6 years doing this, and I'm so glad Eddie's here. We met at the premiere, and Ralph's like, he's a good guy.
Oh,
he's a good guy, and
so
he's a
nice.
great actor. And then when I was, looking, because I gotta vet my, my guests. I gotta make sure that I could talk to them for 55 minutes, and they got some creds.
Sure.
And then I was looking at what you were doing, and and it's great. It's just all good. So
It's all good stuff.
it's all fun.
It's all good stuff.
all good. So I want to ask you about. I'll ask you about two things. But the first one I'm going to ask you about is, I was going through your reel. I didn't send this pic to Carmine, but I'm looking at this one part of your reel, and I see this really beautiful, tall, thin woman with long hair, and I'm going, why is she in his reel? And then after watching it 2 times, The third time I was like, oh, that's Eddie.
That's the transgender witch.
Yeah. Transgender witch, but you weren't looking witchy.
No,
you
no,
were looking
we tried
hot.
to look hot.
You're
yeah.
a hot-looking
I tried
woman.
to look hot.
He did, and you had the boobs, you had the butt.
My wife
you had...
did all the makeup.
Let me tell you, you did a great job.
Implants.
What's her first name?
My wife?
Yeah.
Lourdes
Lourdes,
Sambucci.
you did a great job.
She's a makeup artist and special effects artist.
Seriously, you did a great job because I was fooled. I was really fooled.
We were hoping to
Because
pull
something
that
about
one over.
with the box, and you were like touching the box. And she's like, "What do you do?" You're like caressing my. It was an actual box, people, like a box, like a square box. And she's, what are you doing with the box? Like you're caressing the box. Like what's up with the box?
Yeah.
And then you're like, "I'll tell you about it later. I'll show you about it later." And I'm going, "Was that really? Wow,
That's funny.
that looked like fun." Is that the first time and only time you ever dressed up like a woman?
No.
Oh, okay, Tootsie, tell
I'm
me
sure there were
about
plenty
it.
of other times in my youth. I don't really remember, but there must have been
Oh
other
my
times.
God.
I would
Okay,
have to
so
think.
tell me about Only a Fool. Because Only a Fool, you played Donald, and I have to say, what I saw, I loved. And you get to
Are you a Steely Dan fan?
Yes, and you get to sing.
I
You
do.
get to
I get
sing
to sing
in
a lot
it.
of Steely Dan, which is
Yeah.
great. So you want to hear a great story?
I do. That's why you're here.
My father, Frank Petricolo.
Yes.
Calls me up one day. He knew we were doing a bunch of little short films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey," I know you're doing those films and stuff. I had a dream the other night. He goes, "It might make a good short film." And I'm like, "Oh yeah?" I'm like, "What was it, Dad?" He goes, "It was about Donald Fagen." And I'm like, "Really?" Big Steely Dan fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Funny story. I went to high school with two kids that ended up being in Steely Dan.
Oh, yeah?
Mike Leonhardt and his sister,
Oh, wow.
Carolyn Leonhardt, both ended up being in Steely Dan. Mike actually ended up producing a few of their albums.
Huh.
Two Against Nature, I think. He's a Grammy award-winning trumpet player.
Wow.
Carolyn's one of the backup singers for Steely Dan. They've
Yeah,
been with
yeah.
them for, God knows, 30 years, I
Yeah.
guess, at this point.
Wow.
Crazy. But so he goes, it's about Donald Fagen. He's in an old age home, and he gets a new kid that's taking care of him, but has no idea who he is.
Right.
And that's the premise of the film.
Right.
So my oldest son, Gabriel, at the time was in film school, and I brought that idea to him, and we fleshed it out, and we wrote it, and we got a couple of our friends, to be in it, and we shot it at our country club, and Battleground Country Club in Manalapan, New Jersey.
Shout out, Manalapan, New Jersey.
We shot it there. They were, amazing.
It was
amazing
great.
to let us
It
shoot
was
there.
really
We
good.
had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It won a bunch of awards.
How long did it take to shoot?
I think we shot that maybe in 2 days, 3 days,
Yeah.
I think. It was during COVID also. That was one of those COVID shoots. But we had a lot of fun shooting. My daughter's in that one. And once again, but he won a bunch of awards in school with it, and it was great. I actually sent it to Mike. I don't know if he ever watched it.
Really?
Because I'm sure he must get bombarded with Steely Dan requests and everything else, and he was probably like, "Oh, another one." I hadn't talked to him since high school, so he's like, "Oh, this guy's hit me up." I don't know.
So we're going to put up a couple of you on set.
Okay.
I don't know what they're from. You can tell me. Let's put up pick Q, please. And you can tell me what this was.
Oh, okay. So that's something I booked a few years ago down at an Air Force base. It was for the Air Force.
You look very official.
I was playing a general.
Oh, I could see it.
And it was actually for a training video that they used for the Air Force.
Cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, that
what
was fun.
about
Down in Virginia.
R?
Ooh, that's The Operation. That's Frankie Montero's second feature.
Okay.
That's the one that I
you
worked
play
with
Russ.
Mike and Ralph and Matthew Grossman.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then, and you had mentioned City Dwellers, but Hell's Dimension, that's pick O, please.
Hell's Dimension?
Yeah,
What is
you
that?
played Detective Johnson. It says you're in post. It was a short film. It was Anthony Bradford's.
Oh yeah, Anthony's thing. Matt brought me in on this one too.
Okay.
I still haven't even seen this, but
Okay.
I know it was in a festival not too long
There
ago.
we
Anthony
go.
Bradford, another damn good actor.
Yeah.
That we're friends with from Jersey.
Thank you.
He was actually just on Elsbeth a couple months ago.
Oh,
Go
I
Anthony.
love that friggin' show. And tell me about Tempt Fate?
Tempt Fate. That's our next project. I'm
Yes.
not even sure if I should be saying the name.
All right,
of
so
it,
we
but
won't
it's too
say
late
it,
already.
but
We
you're
already said
producing it. I said
That
it.
is, that's our next feature that we're in pre-production for.
Okay,
we have the pitch
yeah.
deck ready. We're talking
Okay.
about a budget and
All
all
right,
that good
all right.
stuff.
I'm
so.
excited. All right, let's
God willing.
show some more pics. Let's go to S because I recognize this man behind the mask. That's Joe D'Onofrio. And that was at a party.
Gary Pastor's
Gary
party.
Pastor. Gary, remember if you have one, you're supposed to invite me to the next one.
And me too, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll meet you. I'll meet you there.
But yeah, I was there with my wife and Matthew Grossman, and we got to meet Joe.
Joe's a doll.
He was so cool and just.
Joe's a doll. I've had him on the show.
Took the time
and
to
tell
shoot,
me about
shoot the
T
crap.
and Matthew Modine.
That was I got Matthew Modine's story. So. When I was in high school, I did scene work from a play called Orphans.
Thank you.
That they ended up making a movie of. It was a Broadway show that I want to say Matthew was in.
You originally met him back in like 1990.
I met him in a club at like 1 in the morning.
Right.
I'm dancing. I look over to the left.
Yeah.
It was actually one of the modeling things, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
And I look over to the left, and he's standing in a tuxedo by the bar, and I went, oh my God, that's
Matthew Modine.
So I beelined it straight for him, and I said, I just want to say thank you, because your performance in Orphans changed my perception on acting. And he went, thank you, I really appreciate that. And then I bump into him at Garden State last year, and I got to remind him of, again, not that he remembered, of course, but I said, I met you in a club one night,
But
and
of
we
course
talked about Orphans.
But he remembered, right?
He didn't remember, no. But he was very cool and just so down to earth, and he's one of our greatest talents. One of the best actors on the planet.
I love him.
Oh.
He's great.
He can do no wrong in my eyes.
All right, so listen, we're going to take my last break, but when we come back, we have more pics and more to talk about.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we'll be back after this. Don't go away.
Doc, who's the best comedian you know?
Theresa Farrell.
And who's the best actress you know?
Theresa Farrell.
And who's the best cast member in Bad Boys?
Teresa Farrell.
Who's got the best radio?
Teresa Farrell.
Doc, who's your favorite guinea?
Teresa Farrell.
Who are you loving right now?
Teresa Farrell.
All right, Doc, I love you too, baby.
Love you as always.
Thank you.
Like meeting a childhood hero.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm with, go ahead, can I say it?
Go ahead.
Eduardo Garcia Luna, better known as Eddie. So listen, speaking about Doc, let's put up pick, what is it? You, please, because, hello, it's you and Doc.
Doc!
There he is.
That's the Battleground 2 years ago.
Thank you.
I have now hung out with Doc 2 years in a row.
Yes, I only put up one pic, though.
He does an outing at our club the last 2 years.
Yes, I only put up the one
He
pic.
is a darling of a man.
He's a sweetheart, so
And
yes.
he was a childhood hero. I used to run home to watch him pitch.
Yes.
So
At
getting
Shea.
to just hang out with him and
I
talk
know,
to him and
I know.
Oh, it's awesome.
So you are a sports fan.
Junkie.
You are a sports junkie. All right, I didn't want to say it. He said it. So, of course, we're going to show some pictures with you with some sports figures like please. You and Alan.
Alan Houston. So that was my friend Raul, who I mentioned before, the graphic designer.
Yeah.
He used to work for MSG and the Knicks.
Right.
So we used to get Knick tickets and all that all the time.
Yeah.
He would always take me.
Yeah.
And that was a John Starks fundraiser at Lucky Strike
Cool.
on 42nd Street, and a bunch of the old Knicks were there from the 90s.
Yeah.
And we're all 90s Knicks lunatics, obviously.
Yes.
So getting to meet Alan was so cool, and I got to talk to him about Black and White, the movie he did with Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ben Stiller. And I got to bust his chops a little bit about Black and White. Because I was like, man, how'd you get cast in that?
That's it. Let's go to the next one.
Ray Lucas, New Jersey's own.
There you go.
Ray Lucas played for my beloved New York Jets.
Yes, he did.
One of the most down-to-earth dudes you'll ever meet in your life.
Let me tell you a quick story about the Jets. My first, you can leave that there, you know what, Carmine? Yeah, go back to us real quick, and then we'll go back to the picks. Thank you. My first Jet game.
Okay.
My dad took me to.
Yeah.
Ready?
Uh-oh.
It was at Shea
Shea
Stadium,
Stadium?
and Joe Namath was the quarterback.
No way.
Yes, way.
She lies
Because
about her age.
I'm a lot older than I look.
She lies about her age.
No, it's so true. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. And what happened was back then when they kicked the field goals, right?
Yeah.
I remember a guy leaning over. He wrapped his arm around the pole. Don't ask me how they did this back then. Maybe they were closer to the seats. And when the football hit the net, it fell down in his arm, and he ran up the steps. And I looked at my dad, and I said, "Can you do that for me?" And he said to me, "He won't be keeping that ball long." But I remember it like yesterday.
The old days you weren't allowed to keep them, I don't think.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
But I was like,
wow.
I'm telling you, that was my first. Let's go to the next pick, please, X. Thank you very much. Let's talk about Oakley.
Oak. Big oak. Look at the size of the man's
Not for nothing.
hand on my shoulder.
You're 6'2", and he's
and
a
I weighed
monster.
a lot more back then. I was probably a good,
close
to 200 there.
A little full of face.
Yeah, no, I was those are my chunky days.
Yeah, but
that wasn't that long after he had gotten kicked out of the Garden.
Really?
Yeah, and that whole debacle.
Wow.
But he was so cool, and he was in such great shape, and just such a nice guy. I was like, man, you lost a lot of weight. He's like, man, I hit the gym every day.
Let's go to the next pick, please. Why? Why with Walt?
Walt Clyde.
Yeah.
I was shaking when
Were
I met
you?
him. I was so nervous.
Really?
He is a god. When it comes to New York sports, he is a god. So getting to meet him was just wow.
That's so cool.
Greatest
Very
Nick
cool.
of all time.
And the last pick is my man Joe, that I've been trying to get on
Joe
the show.
Piscopo. That was at a Jet game.
And your friends in the middle.
My friend Anthony Conrad. He is a councilman in my town of South Amboy.
Oh, nice.
So Joe Piscopo, another funny story. We have a friend in common.
Yeah.
My friend Mario Alberti's
Okay.
ex-fiancée is his niece.
Really?
So I'm walking through and I see Joe Piscopo, and I'm like, I grew up watching Joe
Thank
Piscopo.
you.
So I couldn't wait to walk over, and I just thanked him for making me laugh all through my childhood.
Joe's great. Joe's great. Joe's friends with a lot of friends of mine, and had Kieran Sheehan here, who played the lead in Phantom of the Opera on Broadway.
Oh, my daughter was flipping when I showed her that.
And he said, I'll help you get Joe on. Still waiting, Kieran. So just throwing it out there, but I would love, he actually did a show here virtually.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm really hoping, and I know
that'd
Joe
be great
gets
if you can get him
Joe
on.
gets up
The
really
stories?
early in the
Oh.
morning
Could
to
you
do his
imagine the
radio
stories he
show.
has?
He gets up really early in the morning to do his radio show. So obviously we do it virtually.
Such a talent, such an incredible
Yeah,
talent.
I mean, are you
another guy
kidding?
with a long Italian last name that I looked up to as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like Joe Pantoliano, who I mentioned before.
Yeah.
We were speaking earlier.
Yeah.
He was in a movie called The Idolmaker, and if you've never seen it, you should go see it, especially if you're Italian.
Yeah.
It's one of those films about an Italian guy who makes it the right way and
Yeah.
doesn't
It
need
didn't-
help.
yeah. And that
that
inspired you
movie
too, you said.
inspired me so
Yeah.
much as a kid. I saw it in the
Yeah.
movie theater, and I was just like, wow.
And the other movie you told me about, the Two-Family House.
Two-Family House. What
Two-Family
a beautiful movie.
House.
Michael Rispoli, Catherine
Yeah.
Narducci is
Yeah.
amazing in it.
Yeah.
There's so many great actors in that film.
There's so many good
films. It was filmed all in Staten Island, and it's the soundtrack's by John Pizzarelli, and the music's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's a true story about this bar in Staten Island, and it's got a racial story thing to it, and it's really beautifully well done.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And right now, you said you're reading Pacino's book, right?
Yes,
Because
Al.
he loves Pacino.
The reason I
Shout
became
out
an
to
actor.
Al. Yeah.
The reason I became an actor.
Yeah.
My acting teacher, my senior year of high school, was a guy named John Capoletti. Shout out to Mr. Cap. He was friends with Mr. Pacino, and I think the year or 2 years after I graduated, he brought him to the school.
Right.
And I got to see pictures of Al in my school, and I'm like, you couldn't have done that while I was there?
That's rough. That is so rough.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, listen, before we go, we have a minute left, but before we go, I want to give a shout out to my sister-in-law, Nicole Canastraci. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
sister-in-law. All right, listen, we got like 40 seconds. Is there anything you want to say to the viewers before we leave? I want to say thank you for tuning in.
I want to say thank you for having me. I'm truly honored to be here.
Oh,
and
Eddie.
the questions couldn't have been any better.
You're so welcome.
The pictures surprised me.
Oh, I'm glad.
I may have gotten choked up a little bit, but I kept my cool. Going down memory lane, especially talking about my dad and stuff like that, it's always,
Well, listen, I want everyone to follow him. He is on Facebook as Eduardo Garcia Luna on Facebook. And on Instagram, it's Ed of the Jungle.
At Ed of the Jungle.
Okay, there you go.
My New York City roots.
New York City
The jungle.
roots.
I
There
went to
he
high school.
is.
It's such a weird time when you think about it.
I know.
Like when we were at that high school, things were really bad in New York City.
Well,
Kinda
thank
like
you
they
for
are
taking
now.
the ride, but you are going to fly home a
I
lot
will.
faster to Jersey. Thank you, everyone, for watching Tea Time. I'm so glad you joined me tonight. Tune in next week, and remember, tell everyone you love them. Ciao.